The Toronto Raptors just pulled off an iconic tank job. I am in genuine disbelief that the Toronto Raptors found a way to lose that game. I'm shocked. I am shocked that the Raptors did not come away victorious. They dominated the Bulls. It looked like the Raptors were well on their way to a win, and we would have been entertaining play-in talk because the push for the play-in would have been right there for the taking. The Raptors were on the doorstep of victory, but then the end of this game happened. The Raptors gave up a game-tying 3-and-1 to Kobe White. Immanuel Quickley fouls Kobe White, who hits the 3 and then gets to the line to hit the free throw. I have no idea why Immanuel Quickley is anywhere near a three-point shooter when you're up by 4. The only reason being you're trying to lose that game. And Immanuel Quickley, in this case, is the ultimate tank commander because he commits the foul. Yeah, it was questionable, but when you're close to any kind of three-point shooter, when you're up 4, you run the risk of that happening. So the referees made a call, and they gave it to White, who then proceeds to hit the free throw. Then Scotty Barnes put up just a disastrous shot. I don't know what that was. Just a horrible shot attempt there at the end to try to win the game. This game goes into overtime. The Raptors get blown out, and they lose. And just like that, this ends up being a monumental result because the Raptors were that close to winning the game, which would have put them just 4 games back of the Bulls for that final play-in spot with 22 games left, and the Raptors still have a matchup against the Bulls. But after that loss, the Raptors are now 6 games back of the Bulls, and the Bulls, more importantly, now hold the tiebreaker after that win. So in essence, that puts away the Raptors' chances at the play-in. That puts the rest of that conversation, because with 22 games left, you're down 6, and the tiebreaker, it's going to be awfully tough now. So I put it on X. I mean, this was a huge win for Tank Nation. You guys know my stance on this. I was shocked, but I was never more relieved to see my favorite team lose a game because I did not want to see the Raptors win this game. Yes, it was a bad loss, and we'll get to that in just a minute, but when you just look at the pure value of it, the Raptors, they couldn't win this game. They couldn't go the other way and entertain the play-in. This is a team that they have to have their sights set on that draft lottery. And by them losing this game, it now ensures that they can now focus on that draft lottery. You're far away from the play-in. Are guys now going to get sat out? What's going to happen down the stretch? I know they still have a very easy schedule, but this was the game that had major tankathon implications. So the fact that the Raptors lose this game, it is a huge win when talking about the tank. And from that perspective, I'm happy because you know where my stance has been all season long when it comes to that. And I know people are going to say, I want to go for the play-in. I want to develop winning habits. Look, you can wait until next season to develop winning habits. There is no reason why the Raptors should be going for the play-in with 22 games left. For what? To get the 8th seed and to get swept by the Cavaliers? They should not sacrifice a potential top 5 pick, which is the pick they're projected to get right now, to simply go one and done. So from that perspective, this was a massive win. And I know a lot of Tank Nation were happy watching how that unfolded. Again, I still have no idea how the Raptors found a way to lose that game. And there was another little hint of maybe the Raptors trying to blow this game when Darko Rajakovic pulled Scotty Barnes, who was dominating the Bulls all game long. At the 7-minute mark, he sat out for about 2:30 or 3 minutes, and during that span, the Bulls went on a 12-0 run to cut what was once a 16-point Raptors lead to 1, and then obviously this game came down to the wire, and the rest is history. Look, Tank aside, that was a bad loss. And I know if you're not on Team Tank, and I'm trying to play two sides here, that was frustrating to watch, right? You're like, wow, how did the Raptors literally give away that win? Late game execution continues to be an issue for this team. How many times have we seen this from this ball club this season where they're in a close game, they have a chance to win, and then they just fall apart? This is where I think Brandon Ingram is going to be a huge help. And look, if I was on team trying to go for it, I would have been absolutely frustrated. But because I didn't want to see the Raptors win this game, I'm going to give certain guys a pass. But, you look at Scotty Barnes, let's call it for what it is. For as great as he played, that was a terrible shot attempt there at the end. And he hasn't shown that he can be that guy in late game situations, especially in the overtime frame. When the Raptors were just getting blown out, they really needed a guy to get a bucket, get him in check, and they didn't have that. And obviously, Jakob Poeltl, that was another thing that suggested maybe the Raptors aren't trying to win this game because they did sit him the entire overtime. I know he was on a minutes restriction, but if they really wanted to win this game, you probably would have played Poeltl a bit in that OT. But when you talk about Scotty, this is where I think Ingram is going to help out, because I look at Ingram being that end-of-game closer, that end-of-game guy. Like, with Ingram next season, he's taking that shot that Scotty Barnes missed miserably. Brandon Ingram's going to be that guy who can keep your team in check and get big buckets in overtime. So that's where I think BI's presence is really going to be felt in those situations. And obviously, there's other things they got to clean up on. I mean, if those were legitimate mistakes and not tanking mistakes, Quickly's got to know better. There was an of not being close to a three-point shooter. There was an RJ Barrett travel that was called, which gave the Bulls the ball right back, because I believe at that point Raptors would have been up 5 with the ball with like 40 seconds left. So there were little moments towards the end there that were the Raptors are not doing a good job here in late game execution. So of course those are things you want to clean up, but the grand picture is the Raptors, they do lose this game. It does help them with the tankathon. There's 22 games left that you got to endure of this. If you're not a fan of the tank, it's not going to last for too much longer. But yeah, I mean, that was crazy. That was really wild to see. That was something that I did not think was possible in those circumstances of the Raptors finding a way to lose that game when they're up by 4 with 6 seconds left. The probability was probably insanely on the Raptors side. So, huge win if you're on Team Tank like myself. And if you're not on Team Tank, all I can do is try to sell you on the future. If the Raptors get a top 5 pick with this group, with Ingram, who's more of a go-to guy down the stretch of games, more so than a Scotty Barnes, this team will be in a far better position a season from now. So let me know your thoughts. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. But that was wild. I can't believe that happened. That was crazy to see unfold like that. So let me know your thoughts, guys. I will catch you all again in the next one.